I said before the break that if you are someone who is frustrated with Nick Caserio, you definitely have more reasons for it this week. I guess there was the possibility that Derek Stingley could have been activated off of the injured reserve with the hamstring injury he has been dealing with since September 23rd. So we're on 5 weeks. I think Aaron Wilson said it could be 6 to 8 weeks before he's back out on the field. And of course, he's had hamstring issues before. He was not activated off of the IR. Now, interestingly, the cornerback position has not been a massive problem, I think, for the Texans of late. I think that Steven Nelson and Shaquille Griffin have done an adequate job. Not to say they've been great, because obviously the Desmond Ridder performance, you can pin some of that on the corners and the entirety of the secondary. But Stingley not activated. That's one of your first-round picks last year. Kenyon Green still out for the year. And also, this one is getting a little concerning too. Juice Scruggs, who has either a leg or a hamstring injury, has been on the injured reserve since August 31st. He was not activated off of it either in a week where the Texans lost Jarrett Patterson for at least a significant amount of time. So yesterday we discussed whether it's fair, unfair to jump all over Nick Caserio for draft picks that haven't worked out. I do think that injuries are kind of out of the control of a general manager unless there were clear signs based off of whatever medical records they had available to them that one of these injuries could re-aggravate itself. But when they're all over the place, like, you can't predict that's going to happen in another body part, you know? But you can make the argument that perhaps Caserio should have put in his notes, Stingley injury prone. Maybe they should have done a little bit more digging on a Kenyon Green. And this Juice Scruggs thing just sucks because a lot of people also felt like Juice Scruggs was a reach at that point in the draft. Honestly, who knows once the second round begins. Meanwhile, the other first-round pick of the Houston Texans this season has just one sack. But guys, I'm going to do exactly what Jeremy Branham doesn't want you to hear. Jeremy Branham doesn't want you to hear about all the advanced statistics that Will Anderson is crushing it. By the way, I kind of agree. But here are all those amazing advanced statistics so that you don't get mad at Nick Caserio for this. ... Yet. Will Anderson leads the Texans in quarterback hits, 18. He leads the Texans in pressures, 26. Did you know that those 26 pressures on 186 pass rushes is in the top 40 of all pass rushers and is third among rookies? Huh? Across the NFL, he's fourth in pass rush win rate. I had never heard of this statistic before, but he's got a 14% quarterback percentage. He leads all rookie pass rushers with a .76 average get-off time. I never heard of that. 0.76 get-off time. That's definitely not ideal in other parts of your life. But hey, for Will Anderson, that's good. While we're on things that definitely have some double entendre to them, elements, his double team rate, also very high. What, Sean? I'm not making it sexual. I'm just admitting the elephant in the room here so that we, as a group, can be mature like we were not at yesterday's 10 o'clock segment when we played that Chris Broussard audio.
I'm just saying, with how often he's getting double teamed, it makes sense that his get-off time is so quick, you know.
Sorry, I did that after that.
Maturity, please.
Mature. Joel Blank said yesterday a show claims to be the most interactive show, but we're the best interactive show. Yeah, because I don't ban anybody or find their phone numbers. Also, they're in afternoons. We have to welcome people in that are like at their cubicles. It's kind of hard, a little bit difficult, but hey, it's fine. Interesting that he took shots. We fire back. What else do we got here? Paul Galancho, most interactive sports talk show in Houston, but potentially in question because Joel Blank called that out. I feel like the lack of a trade the Texans made, people getting frustrated about that. I feel like That's also kind of ridiculous. People were mad that they didn't trade for Montez Sweat. Did you see what Montez Sweat said yesterday after the trade happened? He said, I'm not ready to sign an extension. I want to consider everything around me before I make a decision. Now, in Chicago versus in Houston, totally different scenarios because one team has a quarterback and a good head coach, and the others, you're not sure if they have a quarterback, but you're trending towards no, and they have a dumbass as a head coach. Did you see that Matt Eberflus going into the year had this essentially like high school kind of t-shirt acronym?
Oh, yes.
HITS. It's the HITS principle. HITS. Now, who are we to talk when D'Amico Ryans had Swarm?
At least Swarm doesn't stand for anything. It stands on its own.
That we know of. That would be bad if they change it into that. But the HITS principle, hustle, intensity, the T stands for not anything, but the ball, smart.
Why does it not stand for tenacity? There's so many T words that it could stand for.
The ball.
It stands for
the ball. Yeah. Yeah, it's bad. But anyway.
That is the fact that it has the ball, that's what makes it high school level.
It's very high school. But to bring it back to the Texans here, like if you trade for Montez Sweat, there's a good chance you're going to get him to stick around. But the problem that the Texans have right now is that they're still dealing with cap issues that were created in the Bill O'Brien era, which is insane to think of, but it did happen that way. They really did a very poor job of managing the salary cap because of some of the dead cap charges that they have and because of some of the moves that they had to make. Now, it also doesn't help that Nick Caserio has been signing a lot of guys to one-year contracts, and a lot of those guys haven't been working out. So that's something else to keep in mind.
Or if they do work out, they're Okonkwo and then he leaves and goes to Cleveland because you signed him to a one-year deal. So it's like the worst of both worlds.
Yeah.
If they stink, it's hard to, they don't work out. And if they're awesome, it's hard to keep them because then some other team will pay them. And most teams that aren't the Chicago Bears are in a better situation than the Houston Texans are, even still. Although it's changing. It's changing now. But before the season, almost every team in the league was a better situation than this situation.
Until the quarterback situation worked out. And they did have some money to play with.
Until like the Pittsburgh game.
But they also spent so much money on the offensive line this year, and that also changed things. And then everyone got hurt too. So some of this stuff is just unfortunate for Nick Caserio, which is why I'm not on his case like a lot of people are. I do feel like some of this is just like bad luck. But at the same time, I get the frustration because he is the last remnant of Patriots South, and there is no Patriots anywhere else anymore in the NFL except for here in Houston.